Hello, Mom and Dad Meet World. So I want to do a review on this phone right here. This is the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and yes, it has been a while since we've talked about this phone. Been using it since the day it had come out, so very much so had some very good experience with the 17 Pro Max. So I am coming from the iPhone 16 Pro Max. That is what I had last year, along with the 15 Pro Max, so on and so forth from all the previous years. And so far, the 17 Pro Max or the Pro Max series of phones is typically what I tend to get specifically for one thing, and that is because of the battery life. The battery, it just lasts a little bit longer, and with the 17 Pro Max, what they did differently this year as opposed to what they did from the previous years is they had actually gotten rid of that dummy card slot where the SIM card would go. Right now they removed that and they filled that in with extra battery. So I've used this phone for quite some time and it has actually lasted all day, especially with heavy use, whether I've had maps on, whether we've been using the subway, taking transit. It's been on all day and it has lasted. Thank goodness it has, because when traveling, you want to make sure your phone can last that extra long time. So these phones right here, they are also going to be more powerful. That is almost a given when you were talking about last year's to this year's phone. This is using the A19 Pro with this particular phone. And with this particular phone also, you also get use of the vapor chamber. So that could be in the iPhone 17 Pro or the 17 Pro Max. You do get that vapor chamber technology. So one area where I will admit where I was a little bit skeptical on whether or not to even upgrade is we've set the iPhone 16 Pro, which is my wife's phone, or was my wife's phone at the time, and then her 12 Pro, we actually put that up on our dash. And this particular day, the sun was actually coming through the windshield. It was getting a little bit extra warm, and the phones actually said they needed to shut off or couldn't charge because they were overheating. And when it got back down to normal temperature, then it would start charging again. So I had this phone up there. It did not give me any warning. And so that might have also been one small little reason for April to upgrade from the 16 Pro to the 17 Pro. So maybe while you don't look at that vapor chamber as like a very big deal, things like that in real world use, when it is up on the dash and the sun is beating down on it, have not had the overheat warning with the 17 Pro Max at all. So that is a really nice touch that Apple has added. So when we talk about these phones, pretty much the cameras are the same, but it's pretty much that the cameras are what actually made me upgrade. The biggest difference, I do gotta admit, is gonna be the front camera, and that is the front camera on this phone right here, which I'm actually recording on. The front camera is the same as the 17 Pro, the 17, and the iPhone Air. The front camera really is a phenomenal little camera, and you do get that squared off sensor, because right now I'm actually holding the phone, or the phone is actually down here sitting vertically as we are recording horizontally, and that is a really nice feature when you don't want to use like the camera that I'm using right here. So something to say about that, the front camera is really great for discretion. Will this camera ever replace like your full frame or even APS-C mirrorless Sony camera like what we use right here? And that would be a no. It will not replace those, but you know what? About 85% of the time when we are filming videos like this, I actually don't even have our Sony camera, and most of the time I will just film with the iPhone right here that's actually sitting right here in front of me. But the other thing I want to talk about, as I'm going to stop the recording right here on this phone, is, all right, Mom and Dad Meet World. So this is the front-facing camera. How does it look? How does it sound? I've got it on a gimbal right here. I've actually got it in horizontal mode that we have it in normally, but I'm just moving out here. Should look really good. I think this front-facing camera has been a very much so a game changer, because I think it's really sharp. But we are out here. This is about golden hour, and it looks really good. How does it look on your end? Again, I'm actually walking with it. I do have it on a gimbal right here, but yeah, I think it looks nice and sharp. is I actually want to talk about this camera right here. We are talking about the rear cameras. I don't know which lens I pointed to, but the main camera and the ultra wide don't look like they are changed this year from the 16 Pro Max. But what has changed is that 4x zoom. So what used to be the 5x zoom on the 16 Pro Max is now a 4x zoom. So about 100 millimeter equivalent on the 17 Pro Max, and it supposedly has a bigger sensor. So what I will say is I actually find myself using that 4x camera way more than I did using the 5x camera. Part of that is that focal length. That 4x zoom is just a little bit more versatile, and then the other part is for low light photos, low light videos. So for low light photos, it actually will still revert back to the 1x sensor and just use a form of a digital crop. And the photos don't look great. However, it is very far and few between when it actually does do that. It's actually most of the time, you will actually end up getting the full 48 megapixel, because I pretty much always shoot in RAW. You'll get the 48 megapixel 4x zoom camera when you go look at the information, and I just find it to be really awesome. So one of the things that I have done before, and I've tried it, didn't really work, was I will take that photo that I thought was a great looking photo on the phone, and I put it up on our MacBook or our 27-inch Thunderbolt display on our desktop. And what I notice is the photos look good on the phone, but when you actually look at them on the big screen, they actually don't look that great. However, it is another however with the 4x, the 1x, even the front one. When you do put that photo right up on the screen, it actually looks really good. I get surprised at how awesome the photo quality is, and I'm actually using probably 2 now on a couple different computers that I've got up as my desktop wallpaper. So that is my little testimonial on how good these cameras are. And I do gotta admit that the cameras really are the reason I wanted to upgrade, because doing this YouTube thing and primarily using this phone to take recordings like this, that is the one big reason for myself to upgrade. As far as like the power, the speed difference goes, I don't know if what I do, probably not, would justify upgrading your phone for that. But again, for the cameras for myself, that was enough of a justification. The RAWs look absolutely great, and that 4x camera is way better than anticipated, and that is a real plus. And the bonus is just that front camera. Front camera does not disappoint. Front camera has just been absolutely great, has come in the pinch, and I love being able to hold the phone like this, but be able to shoot in widescreen, which I really like. So all right, Mom and Dad Meet World. So I did forget one very important thing, because I do have our MacBook, which is actually right here. I actually do use the Wi-Fi hotspot on this phone actually quite a bit. And what I did notice with the 16 Pro Max over the 17 Pro Max is the 16 Pro Max would actually disconnect if it was inactive for even a little bit of time. And I think it did that to save battery and be more efficient. But this phone right here, I can be on it for hours at a time, be inactive for say a little bit with the phone just connected to this. And I don't know if it's because it's got Apple's N1 chip in this, because it's got the Wi-Fi 7, the newer Bluetooth, the better AirDrop capability, but that could be it. But I do notice that the 17 Pro Max with Wi-Fi tethering lasts quite a long time. Not only does it last a long time, but it lasts a long time and does not disconnect from our MacBook right here. It actually stays connected the whole time, and that is really convenient, because when you do need to pop onto, like, say, a Teams call and you find out that it's disconnected, then you have to reconnect, and perhaps reconnect onto a VPN. It can be a little bit tedious and could make you late to a meeting. So speaking from experience right there. So just wanted to add that in, because I totally forgot about that aspect of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this very late review of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. iPhone 17 Pro Max has been awesome daily driver, and it will continue to be my daily driver for the rest of the iPhone year. If you like this video, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.